All right, welcome back, everyone. I got dressed. Little human. My leg is really hurting me, though, but that's okay. That's all right. So we left off on chapter 7 in the puppy place with Coco, and that's right where we're going to pick up. They were at the rehab place to check on Judge Thayer, and then they drove home, and there is a lot of snow. So now Charlie is starting to panic because he might actually have to do the cross-country ski thing, and he doesn't want to make a mockery, I guess, out of himself and his team, especially his, best friend that he looks up to. So here we go, chapter 7. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to bounce the whole table. Snow day. Charlie knew it as soon as he woke up the next morning. He could tell by the quiet, muffled sounds from outside like a scrape of snow shovels. There was no traffic noise, just the beeping of snowplows backing up. Love that sound. He jumped out of bed and ran to the window. Sure enough, snow had fallen all night long, leaving a thick white blanket covering everything in sight. A few flakes still drifted down. Snow day, he said to Buddy and Coco. They stretched and yawned on the rug next to his bed, where they had slept, all curled up next to each other. Snow day, says Lizzie, popping into the room. Mom just checked online. All the schools are closed. Yahoo! She opened her arms wide to let Coco jump up and her. Hold on one second, everyone. We have a puppy dilemma in my house, and it's who took it from Nana. Hold on one moment. Okay, so puppy lovey dilemma has been handled. Just to give everybody an update, now that I brought you into the craziness, the puppy is a stuffed animal. It's like the Smushmallows, but it's like a knockoff brand that Walmart has. My mother-in-law got a Dalmatian one with a pink bow, and it mysteriously went missing. Okay, here's what really fears me, mom and dads. You know how when you ask your kids something, they have that tell that gives it away? Mine actually did. He did stump me. So, there's that. After everything was said and done, however, though, we had to run around this house like weirdos. And apparently my son touched something coppery, which, if you don't have a child who deals with any type of spectrum of autism, especially in his case with the Asperger's, he hates metal. He does not like the touch of it. He does not like zippers on his clothes, things like that. We've gotten better in the years with silverware, but it has to be particular silverware. And I cannot believe I am saying this out loud, but he prefers the silverware from the dollar store. Go with it. It works. I'm not upset by it. Don't care. So the first thing he did after pretending to help me look for puppy is come running up here to wash his hands. And I was just informed that the new Dove strawberry crumble hand soap that I bought is not strawberry crumble. It's like fake strawberry. If I had too much fake strawberry is what I was informed of. So I guess that the guys at work are gonna get some strawberry hand soap. Alright, without further ado though, we're gonna go back to our book. So we left off, they have a snow day. Lizzie comes into his bedroom. That's where we are. Mom checked online. All the schools are closed. Yahoo! She opened her arms wide to let Coco jump up on her. And they waltzed around together. Want to go sledding? I'm going to call Maria and tell her to meet me at the school. Sledding sounds great, but Charlie had other things on his mind. I have to practice my skiing, he said, for the relay race. He wasn't even sure where his skis were, but hopefully Mom could help him find them. Yeah, Mom always knows where everything is, I promise you. Right on down to where a specific salad dressing has been pushed into the back of the refrigerator. Yep, we know it's there. It seems like hours before they were ready to go. First, there was breakfast, then there was getting dressed, including stuffing the bean into his snowsuit and boots from last year, which didn't fit so well anymore. Then finding the skis. Then loading all the sled and skis and 2 puppies into a van. Charlie got covered with, what Charlie got covered with? Snow as he helped Dad shovel the driveway. Oh my goodness. It's like everything in this house is just gone crazy. And had to change into a different jacket and find his other mittens. But finally they were on their way singing Deck the Halls with Bells Jolly as Mom drove. As they neared the school, Charlie could see that the sledding hill was packed. Dozens of kids and grown-ups too were sledding down and climbing back up. Their jackets and hats made splotches of bright colors against the white snow. Mom, can you drop me off over on the other side? Charlie asked. I want to practice skiing on the flat part, flat and private. Charlie didn't want anyone watching him until he remembered how the whole skiing thing worked. Harry and Donna would be arriving soon for a team practice. Harry had called that morning to make a plan, but Charlie knew he needed to practice on his own first. I get it. Sometimes, you gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. It was a video that I had sent a friend. She is very much a baker at heart. She went to school for culinary arts, and she contacted me and told me she made blueberry lemon scones. Love them, by the way. And I had sent her a video of my oopsies one day. We have 2 different canisters I keep on hand at all time, pancake mix and muffin mix, because it's cheaper to just mix it up myself and then have it on hand, because we eat a lot of muffins for breakfast in the winter. I accidentally grabbed the pancake mix and made muffins with them, though. Very dense. But they were good. But I sent her the video. Hers looked wonderful. Nothing like what mine looked like. Alright, back to this. Let's drop Lizzie off, Mom said. Then the Bean and I will come watch you. She had brought the Bean sled to tow him around. Buddy can come with me, Lizzie said. He's always good around the sledders. He never barks or chases. Okay, said Mom, as long as you keep an eye on him. And we'll take Cocoa. Charlie watched a little wistfully as Lizzie ran to join Maria. He loved sledding, and he could see his friends Sammy and David racing each other down the hill. But if he was going to be part of Rudolph's revenge, he had to practice his skiing. Mom parked over by the running track, and Charlie unloaded his skis and set them on the snow. He leaned on his ski poles as he pushed the toe of his boot into one binding and then the other. Click, click, done. Charlie stood. I can't do it. I fall. Up straight, smiling and ready to go. Then he felt splat on his back. He felt splat on his back. Cocoa bounded over, towing Mom through the snow, and began to lick Charlie's face all over. Want some wet kisses? It's the dog's part. I think that's cute. Cocoa. Cocoa! Charlie pushed her away. Not now, but he couldn't help laughing. Cocoa was always in such a good mood. And at least Harry and Donna had not arrived yet, so only Mom and the Bean had seen him not very gracefully fall. He grabbed onto Cocoa's collar and leaned on her to help himself up. Then he got himself arranged again and slipped his hands through his pole straps. As Mom got the Bean tucked into his sled, Charlie took the first few tentative steps on his skis. Kick, glide, glide. He remembered He remembered Dad teaching him to ski. The first time up in Vermont, he fell again and picked himself up again. Kick, glide, kick, glide. Then suddenly he was doing it. He found his balance and began the slide over the snow, his arms and legs finding their own rhythm. Look, Mom, he yelled, I'm doing it. I can ski. Great, she called. She followed him around the track, pulling the Bean in his sled as Cocoa dragged her along from the front. I'm in a one-horse open sleigh, said Bean. That's what the little boy yelled. Bean yelled. You're my horsey, Mommy. Charlie laughed. Then he fell again. Cocoa dragged Mom over to where Charlie lay. Are you all right, Mom asked. I'm fine, said Charlie, struggling to his feet. His skis got all tangled with his poles, and he almost went down again. Falling wasn't so bad. It was the getting up part that was hard. Yes, it's very... it's not exactly fun. Soon he was back up and skiing. Go, Charlie, Mom yelled. Looking good. Yeah, Charlie shouted the Bean. Bells of jolly. I want to be that kid. He is so excited about everything. Then Cocoa started to bark. She barked louder and louder, dragging Mom faster and faster along the track. Help, Mom yelled. I can't hold her. What was the big brown puppy barking at? Charlie looked towards the parking lot and saw 2 people walking towards them, Harry and Donna. Charlie glanced back just in time to see Cocoa pull the leash right out of Mom's hand. She came charging towards Charlie. Oh, on her way to greet the newcomers. Loose dog! Without thinking, Charlie threw down his ski poles and grabbed the end of her leash. As he galloped by with a jerk, he felt the powerful dog begin to tow him along. His skis hummed through the snow. He was going faster than he had ever gone on his own. Well, dang. For a second, he was scared, but only for a second. This was way more fun than sledding. Whee! He yelled. Somehow he managed to stay upright. Better let her go, yelled Harry. We'll catch her. Charlie let go of the leash. He glided to a stop as Cocoa charged ahead straight for Harry. Got her, yelled Harry. As he grabbed the leash, he and Donna laughed and hooted at Cocoa's jumping and twirling and barking. Whew, Charlie, said Donna, as he skied up to them. That was awesome, Harry said. You could ski. But I didn't know you could ski drawer? Is that like a jet ski, but on skis? have no idea. Chapter 8. Charlie stood panting, trying to catch his breath, while Coco danced around Harry and Donna, leaping up to kiss their noses. Hi, I know you. It's always great to see a friend. Hi. Charlie asked finally, what does that mean? He couldn't, when he could speak again. I don't even know what that is, much less how to do it. It is a sport that started in Scandinavia. Okay. It's sort of like dog sledding, only instead of the dog pulling a sled, the dog is pulling you on skis, Donna told him. There you go. As she patted Coco and rubbed her ears, a friend of mine does it every winter. She loves it, of course. You can't really do it the way you were, with a regular leash and collar. That wouldn't be safe for the dog. You need a special type of harness. Isn't that right, Coco? She scratched Coco's head, and Coco grinned her happy dog grin. Hey, maybe you could borrow Coco and try it out, Harry said to Dawn. She'd probably be great at it, since she loves to pull. You'd be more than welcome to, Mom said. She had finally caught up to them, towing the bean on his sled. When she panted, big puffs of white frost... I can see it. Big puffs of white frosty breath hung in the air, in the cold, still air. This puppy needs more exercise than any puppy we've ever fostered. Deck the halls with bells of jolly, sung the bean. From his seat on the sled, he flashed Harry and Donna his cutest smile, the one with dimples. Harry and Donna both giggled. That is adorable, said Donna. Not if you've heard it 1,000,000,000 times, Charlie muttered. But he had to admit that the bean looked pretty cute, all zipped up in his bunny rabbit snowsuit with his ever-present antlers perched atop his head. That is cute. I think I'll take the bean home, Mom said to Charlie. Now that Harry and Dawn are here, he could use an NAP. No, yelled Bean. Don't want a nap. He started to cry. Mom rolled her eyes. I guess he learned what NAP spells. They're smart. If you go home with Mom, Charlie leaned down to whisper to his little brother, I'll help you write your letter to Santa later. How about that? The bean stopped crying for a moment and squinted up at him. Okay, he said finally. He waved his arms at Mom. Let's go, horsey. Then he began to sing again. Deck the halls with bells of jolly. Mom rolled her eyes again, but she gave Charlie a grateful smile. I'll come back to pick you and Lizzie up in an hour or so, she said, as she trudged off, towing Bean on his sled. Hey, Harry said to Charlie, you're looking pretty good on those skis. Charlie looked down at his feet. He'd almost forgotten that he still had the skis on. He smiled at Harry. Thanks, he said. I guess I remember how to do it. Rudolph Revenge is going to rule, said Harry. Well, that's a good thing. That's a plus, right? Sorry. My throat was bothering me. It's going to be alone. Grinning as he gave Charlie a fist bump. This race is going to be so much fun. I hope Judge Thayer can be there to see us, said Donna. She turned to Charlie. That's the goal he has and I agreed on. That's the goal he and I agreed on yesterday. He's tired of the rehab center. I made him a deal. If he can walk well enough with a cane or ski pole so that he can come to Winterfest, then he can go home and finish his rehab there with visits from me. That's good. That is really good, actually. Won't it be hard for him to walk on the snow, Charlie asked. They'd cleared the path pretty well, Dawn said. But actually, that's part of the point. I can't send someone home in winter if they can't get through ice and snow. Just like the stairs, you have to be able to transverse, I guess, any obstacle that may come into your way in any season. Charlie nodded. Well, Judge Thayer was getting better fast. Soon he and Charlotte were going to want to have Coco back. There was only one problem. Charlie was beginning to wonder if that was a good idea. He had been thinking about it a lot ever since he had met Judge Thayer and his wife. The thing was, when his family fostered puppies, their goal was to find each puppy a home, not just any home, but the best possible forever home. Big puppies, little puppies, timid puppies, mischievous puppies, each one had his or her own personality. And for each personality, there was someone who was ready to love that puppy and give it a wonderful life. Charlie felt terrible to even think it. But he was just not sure that Ernest and Charlotte Thayer were Coco's perfect forever family. Coco was an active, energetic dog who needed to be on the go for hours every single day. She needed to learn some manners, but it wasn't going to be easy to teach her anything until she calmed down a little bit. She was a handful, just as Harry had predicted. Maybe she was just too much for two very old, frail people. Okay, I don't really like the way the book is worded that, but Charlie didn't know how to say so. How could he, just a little kid, ask someone to give up a dog they adored? I wonder how Judge Thayer and his wife will feel when they see Coco, Charlie said. He saw Harry and Donna exchange a look. I'm sure they'll be very happy to see her, said Donna, but she didn't finish her sentence. Harry looked down at the ground and nodded. Charlie could tell that Harry and Donna were thinking the same thought he was. But the judge may have a major decision to make, said Harry. Not about whether someone in his courtroom is guilty or not, but about whether he and Charlotte will be able to keep Coco. All three of them were quiet for a moment. That's true. Then Coco sat back on her haunches and barked. Hey, I thought we were going to have some fun here today. That dog is pushy, I tell you what. The serious mood was broken. Charlie, Harry, and Donna all cracked up. Okay, Harry said. You're right, Coco. It's time for some running and playing, isn't it? He reached for the sled he had propped next to him. Donna knelt down to strap on her snowshoes, giggling as Coco licked her face, and Charlie skied back to find his poles. It was time for Rudolph's revenge to prepare for the big race. Charlie was tired that night after practice, but he had made a promise to his little brother after dinner. Charlie helped the bean write his letter to Santa. Then he wrote a quick note of his own. Dear Santa, it says, there are a few things I'd like for Christmas, but more about those later. The most important thing I want is for Coco to find the perfect forever home, and I think I may know just where that might be. I do too. I kind of feel like Coco would be good with Donna, the physical therapist. Just my prediction and thought. Chapter 9. It snowed again on Friday night, just enough to freshen everything with a new layer of white. Saturday morning was sunny and bright. Charlie bounded down the stairs with Coco and Buddy flying behind him. It's a perfect day for Winterfest, he said as he sat down at the breakfast table. And a perfect day for blueberry pancakes, said Dad, smiling as he handed Charlie a heaping plateful. Eat up, you'll need all your energy for your big race today. Charlie looked down at Coco. Was it a perfect day for her to go back to her owner? He wondered again. What would happen when Judge Thayer saw his dog for the first time? Would the judge and his wife want to take Coco home today? Deck the halls with bells of jolly, sang the bean, prancing around the kitchen in his antlers. Fa la 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 la. Charlie laughed, pushing away his worried thoughts. Dad sighed and shook his head. I used to like that song, he said, but he was still smiling. Hey, look what I found at the dollar store last night. He handed Charlie a big shopping bag. Charlie peeked inside. Antlers, he said. Dad beamed. Enough for all your fans, he said. Rudolph's revenge will have a whole herd of reindeer cheering them on. That's cute. The school grounds were already packed by the time Charlie and his family arrived at Winterfest. Charlie looked around. He did not see Judge Thayer. But there was Harry and Donna, their antlers bobbling around the crowd. He waved at them and then turned to pull his skis out of the van. He had a laugh when he looked at his family. Mom, Dad, the Bean, and Lizzie all wearing antlers. Plus, Dad still had a whole bunch more to hand out to anyone who wanted to support Rudolph's revenge. That's a weird... I get it, but it's a weird name for me. The relay race was one of the last events of the day, so Charlie set his skis aside and took Coco for a walk around the playground. He had put a head harness on her, so she walked nicely next to him without pulling as they explored the winter carnival that had sprung up overnight. There were snow sculptures, dragons, and giant Viking boats, and castles with fluttering banners. And in the middle of the baseball field, a huge pile of wood, all ready to be lit for an evening bonfire. That's cool. A network of paths, carefully shoveled and sanded, connected everything. Hey, look, Coco, said Charlie. The snowmen are already done. A row of blank-faced snowmen stretched along one edge of the field. They were part of the relay race this year. Harry had explained it all during their practice. The way the race worked was this. When each sledder got to the bottom of the steep hill, or he or she would run to one of the snowmen and put a scarf around its neck. As soon as the scarf was on, the snowshoer would run around the track, then use a handful of pebbles to add a mouth and 2 eyes to the snowman's face. As soon as that was done, the snowshoer would run up to the skier, waiting at the top of another, less steep hill. The skier would ski down to add the final touches to the snowman, a carrot nose. The first team to complete their snowman won the race. Charlie patted his pocket, looking for the carrot he had brought from home, and looked up towards the long, gentle hill he would be skiing down. He felt his heart sink a bit. He was still a little nervous about the race, but after all the practicing, he was as ready as he'd ever be. No problem, right, Coco? He asked. Coco grinned up at him and wagged her tail. Right, the dog said. Coco, the famous Coco, I've been hearing so much about. It was Dee. Her wheelchair was strapped onto a toboggan, and a crew of elves, actually some of Harry's teammates from the basketball team rather, in green pointy hats hauled her around the snow. She wore a sparkly crown and a sash that proclaimed her Queen of Winterfest. Murphy, her beautiful chocolate lab, trotted alongside her, keeping an eye on everything. Hearing her name, Cocoa pulled hard on her leash and dragged Charlie over to Dee. She and Murphy sniffed at each other, tails wagging. So that's good. It's got to make sure Cocoa don't jump. "Hello, Your Majesty," said Charlie, bowing down before Dee. Dee grinned. "My staff made me wear this," she said. She scratched Coco's ears. Harry was right. This puppy is really cute. She'd be perfect for Donna. She stopped herself and put her hands over her mouth. "Forget I said that. I know Cocoa belongs to someone." She changed the subject. "What do you think of Winterfest?" "I think it's great," said Charlie. He had a feeling he knew that Dee had been about to say. "I can't wait to try Snowball Bingo and check out the hot cocoa stand." Snowball Bingo? Huh. I like that. That's kind of cute. I'd like to know how that's played. Something to look up online later. "And the tug of war should be beginning soon," said Dee. "But of course, the main event is the relay race. Did you know that between the 4 teams, we've already raised over $2,000 for people who can't afford to heat their homes this winter? That's awesome." She waved a stack of pledge forms at him. "Cool." Charlie was surprised. "I didn't even know that the race was a fundraiser," he admitted, "but that's great. I bet Harry and Donna didn't want you to worry about collecting pledges since you're so busy taking care of Cocoa," said Dee. "But there are a lot of people out there who will be warmer this winter, and you're part of that." The whole time they'd been talking, Cocoa had been trying to get Murphy to play. But as a service dog, he was trained not to play during work hours. After that first sniff hello, he sat like a statue, barely flicking an ear. Even Cocoa danced around him. Finally, she sat down and began to bark. "This is frustrating. Why won't you wrestle? I know you like to have fun." Charlie and Dee laughed. "I better keep this pup moving," said Charlie. He waved to Dee as he and Cocoa set off across the field. It was time to find Sammy and David and check out some of the games. Yes. Later, as the afternoon shadows began to fall, Charlie stood at the top of the hill wearing his skis, his heart pounding as he waited for the race to begin. Any minute now, Dee would call, "Ready, set, go," in the loudspeakers, and Harry would flop down on his sled. And soon after that, Dawn would finish her snowshoe race, making the snowman smile, and tag Charlie. He had checked his pocket again for the carrot, then scanned the crowd, wondering if Judge Thayer would make it in time to see the race. He spotted Mom, who was holding Coco's leash. Dad stood next to her, carrying the beans piggy bank. There was Lizzie with her friends Maria and Buddy sitting between them. But where was Judge Thayer? Oh. Wait, who was that, picking his way carefully along one of the paths? A tall, thin man with a limp, leaning on a ski pole. A tiny woman walked beside him. The judge and his wife had arrived. That's nice. Chapter 10. It seemed to take forever for the race to start. Charlie thought he would jump out of his skin waiting to hear Dee say, "Go!" He bent down to tighten his ski boot laces, then stood up again, wobbling a bit on his skis. Would he be able to ski fast enough? Would he crash in front of everyone? Time seemed to slow down as Charlie waited. But once the race began, it all went by in a blur. Charlie saw Harry fly down the hill on his sled and wrap the scarf around the snowman's neck. He watched Donna charge around the track on her snowshoes and add the pebbles to the snowman's face. Then she ran up to him and felt her tap his arm, the signal that it was his turn. At that moment, his worries fell away and his body took over as he let his skis glide faster over the snow, carrying him straight down to the snowman. He came to a stop just at the right spot, plunged his hands into his pocket to pull out the carrot, and stuck it in the middle of the snowman's face. "Yeah!" he yelled, throwing his arms into the air. He had no idea if his team had won. That didn't even matter. All that mattered was that they had finished, and that he had not embarrassed his team or himself by falling flat on his face. "Woohoo, Charlie!" he said. He saw his family running towards him, all wearing their antlers. Lizzie could hardly hold Cocoa back as she lunged forward, wearing her huge doggy grin. "Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now I get to run. "Yes!" shouted Harry as he and Donna ran over to join Charlie. "Great job, man!" He smacked Charlie a big high five as Donna knelt to throw her arms around Cocoa. In a happy daze, Charlie glanced around at the crowd and saw Judge Thayer looking straight back at him. Well, not at him exactly. The judge stared at Donna and Cocoa, who were now wrestling happily on the snow. Charlie had never seen someone look so happy and so sad at the same time. Oh. Charlie nudged Donna and pointed to the judge and Charlotte, who were now working their way towards them. Donna nodded and tightened her hold on Cocoa. I know you'll be excited to see them, she told the dog. But you can't jump up, okay? Cocoa wagged her tail. She wagged even harder when she spotted her owner. Good girl, said Judge Thayer, leaning on his crutch to reach down one long, thin hand to pet Cocoa's head. He smiled at Charlie. She looks terrific. I can tell your family's been taking good care of her. Cocoa gazed up at the judge lovingly as he stroked her ears. She's a great dog, Charlie said. You're absolutely right about that, said the judge. But just then, Dee's voice came over the loudspeakers. It's time to light the bonfire and announce the winner of our relay race. Please, everyone, join us for hot cocoa and singing. The bean jumped up and down, his antlers bobbing. Time to sing! Time to sing! Come on! He grabbed Charlie's hand and started to drag him away. Charlie looked back helplessly at the judge, who was leaning over again to pet Cocoa. Later, Charlie stood near the hot, crackling bonfire, listening to the bean's class sing. A hot mug of cocoa cupped in his hands. Mom came over and put her hand on his shoulder. Congratulations, she whispered in his ears. I heard Dee announce that the Rudolph's Revenge won the race. Charlie beamed up at her. I've invited everyone back to our house for Chinese food, she told him. Harry and Dee, Dawn, Judge Thayer, and his wife. I'm going to stop by and pick up the food. Dad will bring you home in a little while. Yay, said Charlie. Can you get me some house special chow fun? At home, Charlie took Cocoa and Buddy out into the backyard for a good run before they all sat down to eat. Would this be one of the last times he got to throw the ball for Cocoa? As he watched Cocoa run and chase, he knew in his heart that the pup needed an owner who could keep up with her, and the only problem was how to convince Judge and Charlotte Thayer of that. I think they got it. Charlie threw the ball 5 more times, and Cocoa fetched it 5 times, racing ahead of Buddy. Then he headed back inside with both dogs. Wait, he said as he dropped the, he did not drop the back door. He said as he opened the back door. Buddy waited. Cocoa did not. She charged into the house straight for a group of people standing at the kitchen. Dawn and Harry talking to the judge, who balanced on his crutch as he drank from a mug. Oh no! Charlie watched in horror as Cocoa barreled towards them, but the puppy did not run to Judge Thayer. She headed straight for Dawn and skidded to a stop as Dawn bent down to meet her. Okay there, girl, Donna murmured to the big puppy as she stroked her. Easy now. Let's calm down and take it easy. Charlie looked at the judge. The tall man wore the same happy, sad expression Charlie had seen at Winterfest. It was time to clear the air. Judge Thayer, Charlie asked, are you going to take Cocoa home soon? Charlotte and I have been talking about that, said the judge slowly. We love Cocoa very much, but we know she is really too much a dog for us to handle. We think Cocoa deserves a home with someone who can keep up with her. The judge looked straight at Donna. Someone like Donna. When we saw her run into your arms after the relay race, we just knew our beloved Cocoa belonged with you. Really? Asked Donna, straightening up. She smiled. I would love to give Cocoa a home, but only if you promise that I can bring her to visit you when I come to your home to help you finish up your physical therapy. And when you're all healed, we'd still want to visit as often as you'd like. What do you say? As they'd like, or as the judge and Charlotte would like? Because, dog's a little... Hence the reason we're in this part. Judge Thayer and Charlotte looked at each other, nodded, and smiled. I'd say that sounds perfect, says Judge Thayer. Charlie nodded. Charlie noticed that the judge looked more happy and less sad as they all watched Donna hug Cocoa. He knew it would not be easy for the judge and Charlotte to give up their beautiful dog, but he also knew that it was the right decision. Wonderful, said Mom, setting the last of the platters of food on the table. Now that we've got that all settled, why don't we eat? Harry sat next to Charlie at the table. A pretty good day all around, wouldn't you say? Harry asked. And now I get to sit with one of my favorite people and eat my favorite dish from China Star. He reached for the platter of house special chow. You know, he said, I never really had a favorite there, and I always wanted one. Then I overheard you ordering this, so I tried it. It's great. Mind if we have the same favorite? Not at all, said Charlie, grinning at Harry. As Harry passed him a plate. Not at all. So he does. He gets his favorite dish. I like that. So what did you guys think? We do have a couple more of these. They do take a little bit longer to read. I did not realize that, and I think these are a level 2 or 3 step up in chapter books. That's why it takes a little bit longer. Moving forward, I might do smaller chapters, but overall, I think that was really good. But you guys let me know. Leave your comments in the bottom. Everybody have a great day.